I mean, I just don't really think chai latte is a hard thing to remember. Like, just chai.
This is what you call witty banter?
What? It's the best I got. What's yours? Go ahead.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, am I doing the intro?
Yeah, you said that.
Cool. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Dylan. This is Zach. We're Some Nobodies, and this is Talking UpStream. Talking UpStream on IBM TV is a 90-minute writer's room, in which case Zach and I each bring an idea to the table. We discuss that idea very briefly. We choose one, and we use this whiteboard and our creative talents to turn it into the foundation for something bigger down the road. Yeah.
Dylan and I, we have a lot of meetings. We have a lot of shows. If you know anything about Some Nobodies, we do roughly 112 podcasts, and our meetings are sometimes interesting, and this is how we do it. So we want to kind of show people our way of creating stories and trying to get out there. And first, how are you? How you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah?
And I mean that in like the fine way.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm baseline right now.
Oh, just regular fine.
Yeah.
Not like fine.
Nah, I'm not feeling fine.
Yeah, you're just fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has YouTube responded to you? I see all those emails you're sending them.
I think I'm sending it to the right person, but they just leave me on red.
John, YouTube red.
Yeah,
that's
YouTube
probably a good
red.
joke. That's cool. Anyway, we got a great show today. We have a couple cool guests. We got the guys from Puzzled Mind podcast, and we're going to bring them on right now and have a couple questions, if that's okay.
That's fine with me.
All right, cool. Please, if you want to bring on
Joon and Tad.
Joon and Tad from Puzzled Mind podcast. How you guys doing?
Hello. Thank you, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Yeah, glad to finally meet you guys. That's cool. Like I was saying, when we're backstage, this is a podcast that I actually listen to, so it's kind of cool to finally see you guys' faces to put that with those voices, because I listen to all those weird questions that you guys deal with. Yeah, you guys recently had whack brackets on there, which is cool because we did a show with whack brackets where we had to fight about cars. Yeah, which is weird because we're not car guys whatsoever. No,
that makes two of us. Yeah, I'm not a very car person either.
Yeah, he's like, "Do you want cars or something else?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't really know cars, so I guess I'll complain about cars." So.
I'm good enough at making it up.
Yeah, that's cool. So real quick, if you guys want to talk about your podcast, like where people can find it and like what's it about, real quick.
Cool. So we're Puzzle Mind Podcast. You can find us anywhere on major streaming platforms, whether that be Apple, Spotify, anything else that you can think of. We kind of center it around 2 a.m. thoughts, and what we do is, we kind of go through the alphabet, and depending on what letter that we land on, that's the topic we talk about. So last week we had talked about, I think, A for anime and its influence, or Disney's influence on anime. And the week before that, we had done, I think, M for mental health, for mental health month, I think was last month in October. So we kind of just go through random topics. It could be anything from sci-fi to, anything that we had mentioned before. So nothing stale when it comes to our topics. So.
Yeah, right on. So a lot of people ask us why we do podcasts, like why would this is such a good subject to talk to, listen to, whatever. Why did you guys feel that this was something that people would like to hear? I don't know. Did you happen to like have friends you would call about and just say, "Hey, I have this weird question," and you're like, "Oh, everyone would want to hear about that."
You want to take that, Ted?
Yeah. I feel like for us, it's like a combination of, the cliche old reasons, we'd always, hit each other up, catch up on something random, like whether it be like what happened, on TV or like world events. But our conversations would always escalate into random things. Like we'd go from talking about like, let's say, I don't know, like someone like Walmart stock is going down, and then somehow we'd end up on like Goku's influence on the anime world and stuff like that. So that random escalation to something, and it'd be like over the course of like 15 minutes, we'd cover like a month worth of talking, and then just not talk to each other for like 2 months. Like, all right, and then call each other again, and then we're like, dude, if we recorded just the randomness of this conversation, like this would have to be something that people are interested in. And then from there, we kind of just actually did it. And earlier on, it was kind of nerve-wracking because you never realize how, I guess, hard it is to talk when you know that you have to be like interesting. versus just actually talking. It's like, be interesting. Like right now, it's like, gosh, I don't know how to, you know, versus just kind of getting used to just being like, exactly as those phone calls are, is exactly how we tried to, you know, model our show after. So we almost pretend like there's no audience, like no one's listening.
That's cool. I totally understand that because a lot of our meetings are about an hour and a half or 2 hours. So when we kind of pitched this show to IBM TV, we're like, well, we'll do a 90-minute show. But we kind of didn't realize that a lot of that part is us not really talking and kind of researching stuff. So it's like, oh, now we got to be friggin' interesting for 90 straight minutes.
Can't have any dead noise.
Yeah, no dead noise. So like then it makes you feel more awkward. Like, I guess I'll just start talking about this,
talk about something,
which is dumb.
Yeah, dude, those silences are brutal. Like, especially when you're on the podcast, it's like 20 seconds sounds like 5 hours have gone by. The most awkward experiences you've ever had.
Yeah, and at 20 seconds, you're like, I'm such a failure. I can't even hold a conversation anymore. What's wrong with me?
To start crying in the middle of the show.
Yeah, which becomes a very good show in itself.
I have to incorporate that.
Now, if there were like a level 2 of Puzzled Minds, like if this could go to like a bigger thing, what could you see this turning into?
You want to? I guess we probably both have like different ideas of it, but do you want to go first, John?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. That's probably something we have to talk about off the air. But
sorry,
no. That's actually a really good question. I mean, maybe more so moving towards a video format. I don't know if that's something that you kind of share a similar view with, but right now we're doing strictly audio, and we do live in different states, so it's kind of hard to have these virtual or visual conversations, and so maybe that's something that we can incorporate.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I think like the video component kind of brings it to that next level because, like you guys said, you get familiar with somebody's voice, and then you only start visualizing how they look, how they act, and stuff like that. And then the visual component's like the other side to it. So I think it adds more personality to the show. So I think ideally, yeah, that's where we would want to do next. Obviously everyone's always like Spotify or Apple, but I think I almost feel like for me, it would be just fun to keep doing this as long as we have like one listener that really enjoys it. I have no problem with that versus, like some of these massive shows like, Joe Rogan was like, how do you not get nervous when anything you say is listened to by 1 million people? Like you don't get to take anything back. 1 million people just heard it, right? So I'm like, I don't know if that's something I would want to almost, I don't know, maybe like evolve podcasting into something that stays the way it is now where it feels more personal, but at the same time, find a way to kind of negate the same redundantness we've kind of seen now of all the podcasts that we see on whether it's YouTube or Spotify.
We talk about that sometimes when we talk about like potentially doing a movie discussion where there's so many out there, it's really hard to make your own opinion sound.
Yeah, a lot of our podcasts that we find are like, hey, I have a friend. We both like Star Wars. Let's talk about Star Wars a lot. Yeah. Where when you come across podcasts like yours, we're actually like, you have a subject, you continue, and you're consistent about it, and your guys are engaging, which is cool. Now, here's our question. Now, you guys go over some very thought-provoking things, and you sometimes get some pretty interesting questions. Do you guys ever like write your own stories? Because now that you're thinking about weird stuff, does that ever get your mind down creation?
Ooh, that's another good question. You're just getting all these things. Yeah. That's I don't know. That's actually a really good question because I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I'm not the most creative person. I think Tadiwa is the most creative of the two of us. I'm more so of the one that kind of has like I would say the deeper thoughts. I just kind of think on things and kind of analyze a little bit more. But I don't know. Maybe content creation in a different form is the level 3 that we were talking about.
Yeah, right on. I guess. Yeah, it's kind of tricky because I guess I try to stay away from that to a certain degree because then you become very formulaic. Because sometimes I go back and listen to the episodes and then I can tell episodes that I prepared for and I always sound very similar, even regardless of the topic, versus like when I kind of think on the fly. I think my opinion tends to be a little bit more insightful and I'm more of myself when I'm like, have to shoot from the hip versus being like, okay, we're going to talk about, like, I don't know, like ancient civilizations. And I spent 2 weeks preparing for it. Almost feel like I'm in school or something like that versus being like, I have a base level of knowledge with a little bit of research behind it to kind of back up these statements. And then my actual opinion will be in a live opinion. So that's kind of how I do it. So every single time it's truly how I think in that exact moment versus being like, I've had this opinion since last week,
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, that's cool.
You talked a little bit about like episodes you prepared for. I know it's difficult to choose between all of your children, but do you guys have a favorite episode of your podcast that you've done, like individually? Is there one you feel stands out, maybe as a good starting point, or one that you're just really proud of?
Favorite? I love all my children. I'll just say that I love all my
all
children.
of them equally.
Yeah. Honestly, I love the ones the question ones, man. It makes for good casual conversation. You can bring that. I would love it if people ask me those questions. Not the like, oh, what's your job? Like I don't care about that. Ask me the weird questions that get me thinking.
Yeah, because your show is kind of similar to how me and Dylan converse. I'll text Dylan a very ridiculous question, such as like, I wonder if sex robot people have an IT crew and the questions they go through. Now, instead of like having, your show would go through like all those questions and kind of ponder on that. Mm-hmm. Whereas I immediately just tell Dylan, like, hey, write a script for this. We're going to call it Silicon Angels. We're going to start right away.
Yeah, you guys had given us that question about the plant that produces meat. And I think I listened to your first episode where you guys mentioned about that. And I thought, I still, to this day, I still don't know if it's vegan or not, but
dude, we don't either. We had to write a whole movie based on this thing to try to figure it out. So because it's cool that like I was bouncing off you. And we communicate on Instagram, and that's where I found you guys first, which led me to your podcast. And I asked the plant question, which turned into our story. Trap fruit.
Trap fruit.
Yeah. What would you say? What was the weirdest question that you've got?
Weirdest question,
or just I guess the one that stands out the most is just like.
Honestly, I'm gonna say the most unique one was the one that you guys asked, because that was something I've never even like. I don't think of plants making meat, but now I kind of want plants that make meat now.
Yeah. I remember the day that I thought of that. It was a weird idea because we had these Venus flytraps at work, and I saw this thing chomping on a fly, and I'm like, if this thing ever produced meat, or like a little bulb, what would that be? Mm-hmm. And so I had to write that out. That's cool. Tad, do you have a question that stands out, or one that is brain wrecking?
It's probably between the ones that you guys submitted, the one about the plants producing meat, or the other one I think we had recently on the latest Whack Bracket episode, where someone asked, would you rather be the last person on Earth or the first person to populate another planet? Oof, and that one just screwed my head up, because immediately I was like, oh, of course, first person to populate another planet. I don't want to be the last person on Earth. I'll be like depressed and all that stuff. Then I'm like, wait a second. No, that's actually terrible. Like, you're the first person on another planet. One, you're by yourself. Two, you have to do all the work of repopulating. I don't care how much Viagra you have. This is not going to work out. So, and then on top of that, it's like you have to start everything over. So like, think about like, and it got me thinking, because like, at least on Earth, it's like you're the last person, but you have all the technology available, all the human development, versus none of that, and then still being alone. And basically, it just put my brain in a system error, and I was like, I don't know.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean, imagine like how nervous you get just going on a date, and then thinking that date has to lead to aggressive population.
It better. Like, there's no such thing as failure in that date.
Yeah. You just got to set the term straight from the beginning. Just like, hey, look, this is for reproductive purposes. That's like,
look, I have no personality. We need to save the human race, though. Are you cool?
I don't know anybody else. I don't talk to people. We just got to get this done.
Yeah, we just got to get along. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm definitely I think I'd choose the last person.
I'm not sure yet.
I just don't want to approach somebody knowing I have to have sex with them. That's just such like a weird. That's like such a like. Here we go.
Amount of pressure, and the fate of your entire species is on it to add it as well too. Talk about like pressure to perform, right?
And with my luck, I would like talk way too much, and she'd be like, we're just better as friends.
We had a good thing, and by we I mean humanity, and I think it's probably best just to let it go.
So
how bad would it be? Yeah, she's so unattracted to.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm gonna let the whole species die.
Yeah, she looks at you. She's like, so more of you? No.
We can't risk it.
Yeah. You got a question?
So kind of the opposite of that one. For both of you, is there one question you wish that someone had asked you that you haven't been asked yet?
I think whenever we've had a few like sci-fi episodes, and I've always been interested in the idea of what people perceive as like, the difference between, like, I guess robots and human beings. Do people consider, like, if robots are just as intelligent as us, they can respond just like us, have emotions, I guess the question I'm surprised hasn't come up, I guess is the better way to phrase it, is that like, would you have a relationship with a robot? And the only difference is that it's just a robot. Mm-hmm. Everything else, like, and I've always, ever since I saw the movie with Joaquin Phoenix called Her, it came out a couple years ago. It changed my entire. Week. Oh yeah, it's a great movie, man. Like, it changed my perspective. I'm like, dude, like, this guy fell in love with a talking brick. But the way it was done, I'm like, dude, I might have fallen in love with that thing too. Like, he was like, I was sitting there like, it just goes to show, because it gets me thinking, it goes to show how vulnerable human thought is.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like that Ex Machina movie too.
Yeah, a little less sinister.
Yeah, but she's fine. What about you, June?
Honestly, there's not a question that I'm like looking forward to. Just whatever question you give me, I'm ready to give it to you, like just straight as it is, because I'm always I always want the weirdest question that anyone can give me. And I always want to give them the weirdest answer that I can give them, but
June, would you enter into a romantic relationship with an AI on your cell phone?
Well, considering they're yeah, you know what? That's actually a good question. And for the record, I'm gonna say no right now, just because there's no set laws right now. We don't know what what is acceptable, what's not acceptable. So let's leave it at that.
That's fair. That's a fair answer.
Yeah, it's a very good answer. Yeah. What about you?
Say no now.
Yeah. Would you say
TBD? I would need to meet them first.
Yeah, true.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
you gotta click.
Yeah,
you gotta click on that brick. Brick click. A question that I like to ask people, because I'm a big nerd, and you can't really see this probably, but I have lots of just memorabilia. But there are so many different versions of Batman, and it seems like everyone has a version of Batman, whether it's a game or a comic or a cartoon or show. Do you guys have a favorite version of Batman?
Oh, well, Tito, you might want to do this. This your boy, right?
Oh, dude, I love you guys. Asked the wrong person. This show's about to be 7 hours now because I love comics.
Perfect.
But I would say, in terms of my favorite version, has always been, I think, the comic book, because I always like the dysfunctionality of Batman. That's what makes him awesome. Because Batman technically is a sociopath. People don't like to talk about that part. Well, he's just a sociopath that is he's like a missile directed at the right thing. Because there's always the opposite side of Batman, where like if he doesn't have the Joker to fight all these criminals to punch in the face, what would he have become? So I've always liked the comic book version, and it's just one of those things where I think everyone can relate to him in some degree, because the interesting thing about Batman, he's a broken person. That's just really what it comes down to. So, I mean, you have the movies, like Christopher Nolan's version I enjoy in terms of like how realistic it was. But in terms of like for my own personal, preference, I love Zack Snyder's version when he's just busted into warehouses and beating the other people. Like the guy he probably was just selling weed, and then Batman comes by and just breaks his legs for no reason. It's just like, like that kind of Batman is the Batman I enjoy.
Yeah, I agree, man. A lot of people talk trash on Zack Snyder's Batman, but I'm about it, dude.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's thick. I'll take it. What about you, June?
All right, well, my answer is not as elaborate as you guys. I'm going to go with the cutscene Batmans from the video game. I've never really played them, but I always watch the cutscenes.
Wait, like the Arkham games or the Telltale games?
Yeah, the Arkham games.
Oh, dude, yeah, those are great.
That's cool. Like I said, I'm the type of person that'll watch cutscenes on YouTube, and that's about it. Like, I'll never play the game. But
those Arkham games are like a beautiful movie put together. Though. I like those things.
No, for sure.
You got a question?
If you could fight any podcaster, who would it be?
Any what? I'm sorry?
Podcaster.
Oh,
fight any podcaster. I don't know if I
just chose a random one from the list.
Oh, you know what? Actually, let's do Mike from Whack Brackets, because remember last week or 2 weeks ago we were talking about how the gangster and all that too, and he would be like the rougher. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mike.
Oh yeah. I don't have a personal beef with him, but he just seems like a dude that every time he just talks, I get annoyed. Is that Alex Jones guy? He's always on Joe Rogan randomly.
Yeah,
he's always super hyped, and I just picture he's the kind of guy that would just say something that would piss me off. So I'm like, you know what? Why not preemptively fight him before he says it?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. I think I'd personally pick Rush Limbaugh, but I think his health might make me feel weary about it, though.
Don't feel bad for him.
Just go at it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's my choice then. Here's another question. It might be a little bit on the hard side. You might not want to answer this, but what was the last thing that made you cry?
Oh.
For me, it's like an Apple commercial. Like, I cry all the time.
Oh.
iPhone 12 commercial. It's so beautiful. God.
Mine legit cry, I think, was my wedding. I just, I thought I was gonna be a little tough boy, but the waterworks kind of came out, and there's a million pictures everyone has of me crying. So that's
all right, that's cool.
Yeah,
totally.
That's a guy respectable answer.
Yeah.
I know. Like that guy. Every guy in America right now is like, great answer, John. Great answer. Not sleeping on the couch tonight.
That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. Mine's Monsters Inc. What about you, Tad?
Honestly, the last time I had a really good cry was it was probably when I watched Logan in theaters.
Oh.
I watched it for like when it came out like what, nearly like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was like really good cry. It was just it was the ending part where you spend the whole movie seeing X-23's daughter and him like just go butt heads the entire time. And the moment she finally says I love you is when he's dying. And the entire movie she's giving him crap, and then she's like, Papa. I was like, oh God, my emotions,
dude.
Oh, my emotions. And just the way that she turns, even like the cross, they turn it to the side, the axe. I was like, this is too much. This is too much to put in the one movie. They knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah,
dude, that's like 2 good dude answers for why you're crying.
Yeah,
Wolverine
exactly.
and your wedding.
Yeah,
playing it safe, bro.
How about this?
Not gonna make a fool out of me.
I'm gonna switch it to the Wolverine one. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So Logan time
it's
2.
okay, June. I cried during your wedding too.
Okay,
yeah, I saw those pictures. They were devastating. All right, well, we're going to get on with this portion of the show, if that's okay. And in this part, Dylan and I come to the table with a weird idea that we're trying to figure out if it should be turned into something that is producible or publishable. Dylan, what's your idea this week?
So the spider interview idea, I'm going to table that for now because nobody's picked it in like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, true.
I got something new. It's been a little bit of a week at work, just, working customer service, retail industry. It's always a little tough nowadays. And I thought back to when I had an even worse work environment. And I was like, man, what if my boss was a murderer and I had to like witness them accidentally kill someone?
So what if you saw your boss kill somebody?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know necessarily the specifics, but it would be hard. It would, but for the sake of the story, need to be hard to corroborate.
Yeah. So boss murderer. That's a good one.
Boss murderer.
Yeah. He makes awesome posters too.
What do you
that's
got?
cool. Yeah. What if you see your boss kill somebody? Mine is a little bit slightly different, not as morose, I think.
Yeah.
I was taking a walk today and I was looking across the street and I saw somebody that looked identical to myself. And for a second I was like, oh my God.
Ugh.
And I had the craziest thought that I had like walked through like a split reality. And I'm like, what if they go to my house? Like, what, so my idea that I would like to maybe explore is, what if one day you saw yourself?
Personal question. Do you and your partner have a doppelganger test established? Do you have you guys,
go ahead and explain that.
So like where, in movies where it's like, ask me something only I would know, and then the person always kind of stumbles to find something. Have you established something like, hey, if you ever suspect that I'm a clone or something, ask me this question so that I know the answer.
But wouldn't that person know that also?
It depends on the nature of their duplication.
Oh, okay.
If it's
the nature of their communication.
If it's like a lab
How
clone,
solid
then
is
they
your
might not know
relationship?
it. Mine?
Yeah, I don't think
how
that
solid is your relationship with your significant other?
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I need to have a clone test. Like, Snee's kind of weird today. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, I mean, my previous partner, when I had a clone test, and it did not end well. So,
she left with your clone, so that's a mistake. Okay, guys. So now this is up to you. Which one would you like to see us explore? We have one day you see your boss murder someone, and the other idea that we have is what if one day you happen to see yourself?
See, so the seeing yourself is really interesting because I think we had talked about this with the simulation theory, but essentially, how do you know you're looking at yourself? You've never actually seen yourself, only in a mirror. So I don't know why. I'm going to go with seeing yourself because I think that could go many, many ways.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. I'm also going to second seeing yourself just because like the boss murder one, I feel like that's already happened. Like we just don't know about it. Like someone definitely in America saw their boss and just was like, I don't care. I work at Walmart. I don't get paid enough to deal with this.
Yeah.
You know?
I definitely did not base it on a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So seeing a doppelganger would be crazy. I think like
Sticking to
you
it.
saw someone that looked exactly like you and you had no idea about it. Like it would probably like just I don't know. I'd go into like a state of shock or something.
Yeah. Dude, it really messed me up that day.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. We're gonna go ahead and go with See Yourself. That's the one we're gonna go with this time. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. If you would like to dip out, feel free. That's fine. We're gonna spend the next 60 minutes figuring out what kind of story or what medium this is gonna be. And we appreciate your time. And if you want to hang out, that's cool too, because we could probably use some help. This is gonna be a weird one.
Oh, let's do it. I'm excited for this.
Cool.
All right, right on.
We got to, yeah.
But before we get started, though, let's go over a couple things. Is that okay?
Yes, that's exactly
All right.
what I was going to bring up.
Number one, thank you very much to IBM TV for hosting this. Dylan and I, we talk a lot, and you have us on a lot, and we do appreciate it every single time. So thank you very much, Talking Upstream, or IBM TV. And if you want to see anything that we're doing or kind of follow our journey as we're making these things, you can always go to somenobodies.com, or you can always go over to patreon.com/somenobodies and really help out. We're trying to make movies. We're trying to make some big deals. But let's get into this for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what were you thinking?
I was
Basic foundation. What were
okay.
you
My
thinking?
very first thought was the Schrodinger's box situation,
Okay.
where we were both alive at the same time, and we were both the same person.
Okay.
Like they also saw me and was like, "Oh my god."
Okay.
So we were like identical and somehow like a split dimension. I'm not really sure.
It's not a devious clone or replacement or fey changeling thing.
No, I didn't see it as a scientific thing. I see it
Okay.
as more of a dimensional thing.
Like a burp,
Oh,
like the universe had a
dimensional.
burp or something.
That's an interesting thing. So now
Yeah,
you're-
like
how
Go
would
ahead.
you know though? How would you know it's like a you from a different dimension though? Would you just automatically would you feel weird the second you encounter your doppelganger, or would it just be you see your doppelganger?
well, I think that if I saw somebody wearing the identical set of clothes that I was wearing,
Oh,
I would think it was a dimensional shift.
Mhm.
If I saw somebody who was like, "Yo, you look just like Michael Shannon," which I hate hearing, but that's different. Or if I do hear that, I swear to God, I don't understand it. Dude, come on, you don't
Keep
know who
talking.
Michael Shannon is?
I know who it
You
is.
watch Boardwalk Empire.
he's such a weird looking dude. Michael Shannon is neither a compliment nor an insult. Like, he just
I know.
looks like a human being. He's
I
not
really like
handsome.
Michael
He's not
Shannon.
ugly.
Yeah, and he's a good actor. And
Mhm.
when people say like, "Hey, you remind me of Michael Shannon," it's like they say, "You remind me of Michael Shannon and Barry,
Bill
Hader." And I'm like, that is weird.
Huh.
Oh,
And
wow.
neither one is a compliment. But no, for this story, I was seeing more of a dimension. Like they had your identical clothes. Like they were like you were looking in a.
I don't see it.
You don't see it?
I don't see
Oh,
it.
good. Okay, well, I can rest tonight. Yeah. So that's kind of how I see it. They're wearing your clothes at least.
Okay.
So
So what are you seeing as? What are we talking? Are we talking a short? We're talking a film? We're talking novel?
Well, I
We did a
don't
novel.
I don't see it as a series. I'd like to visualize this. I
Yeah.
think that makes more sense. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is like eye contact, like
Mhm.
you seeing yourself seeing you, and then what would you do then?
Yeah.
Because you both would go home, you both would call the same people, you both would have the same thing. So I see it as a standalone movie or possibly a short.
Okay. Is this so ultimately
Mhm.
the point of view Zach? I'm assuming there's gonna be a point of view like Zach Prime. I'm gonna refer to them as Zach Prime and Zach 2.
Yeah.
Now
I'm Zach Prime.
is Zach Prime the trespasser in that reality, or is Zach
Oh.
2 the one who went into Zach Prime's reality?
Mm.
Because whichever one we follow indicates like whether we are trying to get this one home or whether you are trying to get home.
See, I think it makes a more interesting story, and feel free, puzzle minded, to back me up or not. But I think it makes a more interesting story if you happen to be in their timeline.
Okay.
Agreed.
So Zach Prime is in Zach 2's timeline.
Like, say that you catch them as they're walking home, as you're walking out.
Mm.
So you're like, oh no, like they're they're
Okay.
the real ones.
Okay.
So yeah, you're the visitor.
You're the trespasser.
What do you guys think? Is that
Yeah, I could see that because then you start questioning: are you actually in the real? Are you in your world? You don't know if you're in your world or if you're in Zach Prime 2 or Zach 2's world.
Yeah,
I like Zach too?
That sounds like an M. Night Shyamalan plot twist. Like your whole movie, you go thinking that he's the antagonist invading your world, but also another spin to it could be like if your thoughts whenever you guys are together, your memories and thoughts start to get all crossed.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're living, even though you haven't lived those thoughts and memories, since you're the same person, you start living his thoughts and memories, and you don't know what's yours and what's his.
Oh.
So are you thinking along the lines of like, say, if I were to think of, I should pull my phone out and call my partner, that person across the street would also pull their phone out?
Yeah, you would do it, but you wouldn't hear a voice telling you to do it. You would do it thinking that you're just doing it, but it's actually his thoughts, and you reacting.
Yikes. You could have some really weird camera stuff with that.
That is cool. So then whoever thinks it, the other one does it.
Or at least has the sensation that they're doing it, and then they look down, their hands are at their sides, and they're like,
yeah. I like that. All right. Yeah, we can
like
work
some
with that.
David Blaine stuff. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and set up a timeline. So I guess we'll say that it starts with like me leaving the house.
I assume it starts with you like real close to actually seeing things.
Yeah, so me leaving the house.
Let's not waste time.
Yeah, because I want to establish maybe one or two more characters. Sure. So it'd be me leaving the house on my way to a very mundane destination.
Is this you, or is this a or like a character supposed to represent you? Like, you know what I mean?
No.
Are we doing what we did with roast weddings, where it features you?
Oh no, let's just go with me for right now. Yeah, just for whatever.
Cool.
So we'll say me. I leave the house and I'm going to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And I'm walking. It's like a mile away. And as I get to the main road, Main Street,
sure.
I happen to see myself across the street.
Okay.
And they have the grocery bags from the store I was about to go to. That sounds crazy.
Yeah. So walk me through this. What do you do when that happens?
I pee a little bit.
Okay.
I think.
Sure.
Because I have a very weird fashion sense, this style. So like they'd be wearing the same clothes as me. So at first I would really, I think, stare them down.
Okay.
And really try to understand it.
All right.
What would you guys do if you happen to see yourself in what you perceive as the future bit of what you're about to do?
I think the biggest thing for me was I would question whether I'm being vain or not. Like, that guy's wearing my outfit, like, wait a second. He also kind of looks like me. I think it would be like a step process if I saw it. Mm-hmm. And then once I realized it's me, I think I would, if I'm 100% sure it's me, I think I'd have no problem like running up to myself and be like, what the hell is happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And same here.
So, yeah.
So then the other one would run over to you then.
We'd probably look at each other and have like intersection.
Would you take a selfie?
Let's go to the
make sure you'd be like, wait, can you compare?
I feel like it would be really interesting if, like, say I locked eyes with them and then we both kind of ran to the closest intersection.
Oh, yeah.
But they were actually running to my house because I'm going away from them.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
You know what I mean?
Oh, they immediately start running home.
Yeah, because if say they think that they see another me, they're probably going to want to protect their family. Yeah. So they're going to want to go home to see like what is happening, like why are they doing this? And I would think my first thought would be if someone were trying to look like me, they would want to take my stuff. Okay. Right? I mean, that's sure. That would be.
Would you immediately run home though? I'm wondering, would you run away? And since your thoughts are together, you end up at the same spot as your duplicate because you guys are thinking the same thing. So let's say I'm like, holy crap, that guy looks like me. Maybe I'm thinking someone's trying to kill me. I take off running. I run to, I don't know, like a grocery store because there are a lot of people there. I'm trying to lose this person. But you're running down the aisle and you see that the person's right next to you because he's thinking the same thing you're thinking. And then
No, that's cool. That would push the interaction pretty quickly. I think that it might be kind of more interesting in the story setting if, say, we both ran home at the same time, but they were closer. So they got to my house first.
Yeah, what if proximity determines how many of your memories cross over? Like the closer you are, the closer your memories are.
Yeah, I like that.
So that way we don't have to worry about constantly having the memory mashing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's cool. Yeah, I like it being proximity based because that would help out a lot. But yeah, I do like the idea that if we do run somewhere, they would run the same place. But I feel that if it were me, and obviously I can't speak for anyone else, I feel that my natural instinct would be like, they're going to go to my house.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. But if they got there first, I don't know what I would do then.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, then actually the good question is then, when you went home, your family would be like, wait, who's the real one? And then you would have to explain yourself, like, kind of that conversation, like, what's the secret word that we always say if for whatever reason this situation happens? It's like bananas. Oh, well, he said apples. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't work because you guys would have crossed.
Yeah, we would have the same. We'd have the same thing.
What if you see that Zach 2 is going to be this is Zach 2 going to Zach 2's apartment?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. So then, what if Zach Prime calls your you called because you see that Zach 2 is going to beat you there? So you call someone who might be home to be like, and then
don't open the door.
Yeah.
Don't open the door
for me.
Don't open the door for me.
Don't open the door if you see me, but trust me.
We're starting this off like kind of thriller. Almost.
Yeah, this is a little weird. What makes a better story? Meeting up somewhere else or them racing home?
See, racing home seems like it's toward at least middle to the end of the movie, because once you get there, are you gonna run out of your house again? Because that's where all the stuff is going down at home. Because that's when your wife has to figure out, or your significant other, will have to figure out, okay, which one is the real one? And then there's the whole okay, I'm gonna have to kill one of you at this point. That seems like too early in this story to figure that thing out.
Yeah.
Unless Zach Prime realizes that he's in the wrong dimension, and then just wanders off into the distance.
What is something
he just leaves? He's like, I'm in the wrong universe.
I ain't supposed to be here. Dang.
What is something you see on your walks that if you noticed it was different, would clue you into the fact that you had hopped dimensions?
Okay, cool.
What's something you would see that would alert you to the fact that there are minor differences between this and your prime dimension?
It'd be like a chip on the tree, you always go by this tree and it has the initials of your old lover. It'd be AN loves TS, and then it'll be this one says TB. Wait, what? That's not
instead of all the flat Earth graffiti, it's cube Earth.
There is a weird amount of flat Earth graffiti around my house for some reason.
Yeah,
and I think it's a joke, but it might not be. I have no idea.
It looks like they're saying Fiat Earth.
Yeah, I like the tree thing though. All right, so there's a tree, and I pass it, and I guess for some reason I would touch it or look at it every day because it's mine or
it's like your neighborhood. Let's say you live at the house down the street, and it's like a family home that your parents used to have, and that's where you had your first relationship or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, like that. So in this tree, there's a heart carving, and it's gonna say ZW plus DT.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Well, what we have is similar to love.
Yeah,
if not simulated.
Yeah. I'm not arguing that. I'm not over here mad.
And then one day, I guess this day, I come out and I just happen to notice that this now says ZW plus. Give me 2 initials.
Which initials are you going to create for this?
I have no idea. Give me 2. We're going to go TJ.
TJ, there you go.
Tad and Joon.
Trader Joe's. There you go.
Trader Joe's. Wow, that was shit.
No comment.
That's a joke we'll tell you guys
off
camera. And okay, so this is a tree here, and every day I see that. And then this day now, I see this tree, and I see that the logo is different. The heart is different. That's cool, which lets me know, okay, something weird's up. And then immediately after that, I see myself across the street with grocery bags.
You see the tree first, and then you see Zach too?
I see the tree first. I think that's a good point. What Joon said is that you can kind of see that you're in a weird dimension, or that something's off already. That way, when you see something else that's off, it clicks faster.
Confirms. Yeah, it confirms your suspicion.
And then it would make you feel that you're in the wrong place. Instead of that person in the wrong place, I should murder them.
Or I should murder them.
If that's where your mind goes,
immediately jump to murdering.
Straight thought.
Dude, I don't think I could have another me in the world. I could not process that. I couldn't handle it.
I guess it's kind of like when people say hey, if I ever win $1 million or $2 million, I'll never spend it. But you don't know it until it actually happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'd be cool with myself because I feel like I'm cool and I like myself. But I tell you, my daughter, who is 21, is almost an identical copy of me, and I hate that kid. She is annoying. She's so clever and she's so witty and she's so fast and her eyebrows are so nice. And I'm like, oh, you're another me. I couldn't handle that. So I don't think I would like that.
All right, if you say so.
I do.
So you see some weird signs that things might not be the same as they were beforehand.
Right.
You see Zach 2 walking home or walking to the grocery store because you're coming back from the grocery store.
I'm going to the grocery store.
You're going to the
Zach 2 is coming back from the grocery store.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Zach 2 runs back to the apartment, and you know he's going to beat you there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do next?
What would I do next? I probably would call you, honestly.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude.
Okay.
This is either a podcast idea with 3 of us, or I need your help here.
Okay. So you call me.
Yeah.
All right. In this universe, do we have a doppelganger test set up?
Yes.
Have we established that in real life? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's Jurassic Park 2.
Thanks for revealing that answer.
All right, we need a new test. New test tomorrow. Okay.
All right. No. Okay. So you call me, and how does that come? Like, what do you? First off, I would know something is up because you're calling me unannounced.
Yeah.
Which that's just a thing I have.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Zach's calling me. I'm gonna answer it. I'm like, all right, hey, what's up?
Oh, that made it weird that I called you today with a very stupid thing.
Oh, that's fine.
Dude, today I called him and was like, hey, there's a pickaxe at the thrift shop. Do you want this thing?
And I'm like, are we collecting props for future projects, or do we need to let it lie?
I would say that if I called you, you would immediately hop on board with this. There would be no question about it. But I think that you would help me confirm somehow.
Okay.
But I don't know why.
Okay.
And now, now, I don't think that's right.
Based on us, I'm seeing this as you going, hey, I saw myself on the way back to the grocery store, and I think I'm in a different dimension than I was last night. Whenever this happened, and I would probably, or you'd say something along the lines of like, I saw a duplicate of myself. I think I'm in a different dimension, and I'd probably be like, is this an idea for a podcast, or is this serious?
And I'm like, now is not the time. Okay, now it's kind of the time. But no,
this
is real.
All right.
Because like I can't call my partner because if Zach 2's in this house and I call her, that's gonna freak her out.
Yeah.
And
do you think Zach 2 would tell her that he saw Zach Prime?
They would probably be having that conversation. Okay. Which now puts me out.
So Zach Prime doesn't call his partner; he calls me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I need problems. I need problem solving.
That's fine.
Okay.
Fair.
Not another problem. I don't know where she is. Yeah. So I think what's that?
Also, I have a question as well too. What if Zach 2 makes it to the house prior to you? Well, makes it to the house before you call. So your significant other is already talking to Zach 2 as you're calling her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And she's like, "Why are you calling me?"
Because if he gets home first, he's gonna be like, "Yo, I just saw myself across the street."
She has like a caller ID pop up and it says Zach or whatever.
Yeah, and
Pumpkin.
She doesn't. You call her, but she doesn't answer.
No.
Okay. And then you call me.
That's when I call you. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So I call her first. Maybe she doesn't answer. I call you. Problem solving.
And I'm just like, all right. When do you think you splintered?
Yeah, definitely. Probably last night at some point. There was a comet that came over the house.
Sure.
Or a meteor. There was a weird power outage yesterday across the street, which is weird. So
maybe they're the ones who splintered.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so you call me and I confirm that. Do I confirm that you are not Zach? You are not from Universe 2. You are from Universe Prime, and I'm Dylan 2.
Wait, I'm Zach Prime and you're Dylan 2?
Which Dylan do you call? Do you call
Dylan
Dylan Prime or do you call Dylan 2?
Well, I would call just
because
Dylan.
You are an interloper in this.
I guess
universe.
technically I would call Dylan 2 because I'm completely subversive.
Or does your cell phone call?
Ooh, my cell phone is back to the original.
Which one?
It would. I feel like it would have to be. It would have to be towards the 2 one because I don't know how cell phones work.
Okay.
Maybe
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think they're like microwaves. I still don't understand how those things work either. So I'm gonna say it probably makes a better story if I call Zach 2. But
you call Zach 2 not knowing that it's Zach 2.
Right. I mean, I called Dylan 2. Yeah. I called Dylan 2 not knowing it's Dylan 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because we have the same test, it's confirmed.
You call me, and I'm talking to you, and we're just like, all right. So you think you cross? Hold on, I'm getting a call.
And it's me.
I'm getting a call from you. Yeah. Should I take it?
I'm like no.
All right. This is getting. I say we do this as. I say we should aim for this as a short. Because this is already getting really convoluted. Yeah, I don't see it going very long. I like this, but I don't want to write primer.
Oh, cool. Yeah, okay. That's fair. Don't want to do that.
We should try to make this accessible.
Yeah, all right.
As much as I like just kind of indulging myself, I think we should try and make this accessible.
Fair. All right, let's say it's a short then. So we're gonna go with a short film. I think that's cooler anyway, because then it can make things happen so much faster.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go with a short, and I'm gonna say, let's say this is 30 minutes.
Sure.
So we're gonna do our third points right there. So this is a 10-minute mark, 20-minute mark, and this is the fin. I don't have a finish yet.
Okay.
But I guess at this point I would call you.
Mm-hmm.
You would confirm the test is right.
Yeah.
Which would make you think that I am probably not from your universe.
And then I get another call from another Zach, and I'm like, should I take this?
Now what?
I feel like I would. Okay, so if I'm writing myself, I feel like I would just be like, I'm getting a call from my Zach. I'm going to take this.
Yeah.
I guess it falls on me to work out your Splinter. You know?
Yeah. So,
all right.
So now I definitely splintered. Now I know that I'm in the wrong universe. And do you side with Zach Prime?
How would you two interact with each other? Are you guys? I would assume you guys aren't trying to eliminate each other. I'm probably trying to get you back to Dylan Prime.
Yeah, I
like how we all immediately went to murder. Like we have to kill him.
I know. I would think my first thing would I'd probably kill him. But if I knew that I was completely in a wrong dimension, I would not do that. I would know that I'm wrong and I would need to go away.
Yeah.
So even if I met myself, I think we both would agree that Zach Prime has to go away.
Okay, so I would get a call from Zach too, and I'd be like, "Give me just a second, I'll call you back." What would you do while I am not on the phone with you?
I would probably play Animal Crossing.
Okay, not interested in television. Anyway, I would say it doesn't take very long.
I would pace, honestly. I would just pace.
I'd probably. Are you pacing? Are you like within eye shot of your apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You're like across the street.
I'm like down this little weird alleyway that I don't like going down.
Yeah. And so eventually I do call you back soon, and I'm just like, I'll be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure this out.
And then would it be a thing where you go between me and then into the apartment to talk to the other me?
Or do we get everybody gathered together?
Oh. What do you think? What would be more interesting? Because I have this feeling that I would realize that I shouldn't be there, so I'd probably want to go back to my home. But I could also see a group conversation.
Also, in this world, is being an extra dimensional person just an accepted thing, or is this an anomaly on top of you being the doppelganger as well too?
I think
that makes a difference. Because if you're talking wait, you're from a different dimension, different dimensions exist, that would be a topic of conversation. Versus if it's just a thing, oh yeah, this happens all the time. Just rip open a wormhole and go back to where you came from or something.
That's why I think that we have to put in something that's a little bit crazy the night before, like a comet or a meteor or an eclipse.
Yeah.
But I think that because it's a short, we don't need to go into it. But it is an anomaly, and I'm only saying don't go into it because that's a lot of universe building. I think you got to do.
Yeah.
I think that this thing happens so fast that people can't.
I'm imagining it as a single shot of your apartment at night, and there's a meteorite, and then another meteorite exactly the same, and then it just fades to day and shows you going to the store, and that's the only establishing we get for it.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. So that means things are weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Maybe it's a weird color.
So do we all meet and discuss?
If you, I guess so.
Yeah, I think so. So there's a couple calls to Dylan. 2. And then right around I guess this can take about 10 minutes, right?
Oh yeah, the intro to the point where you kind of have the world broken open to you.
Yeah. So then at the first arc, right? This will be the 4-person meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then which 4 people are there?
It's Zach 2, Zach Prime, Dylan 2,
and partner
2.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Dylan. So now our character list is 4 people. So it's partner 2, Dylan 2, Zach 2, and Zach Prime. And right at 10-minute mark, I guess just a hard cut after a couple conversations. Hard cut to all 4 of them sitting together.
I think so.
In the apartment.
Yeah, I imagine I'm probably there. I'm probably standing. Zach Prime is probably standing. Zach 2 and partner are probably one of you is standing in front of the other.
Yeah.
Maybe she's protecting, like she's in front of Zach too.
Yeah, I can see that.
And like, and you can almost have one of those little weird moments where, like, if you have a kid, like the kid's like, "Why?" Like, it's like he says something to his dad, and they both answer.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
I like the idea of her just walking in, being like, "Is this for a podcast? Are you recording right now?"
Yeah,
it's like, yes.
Yeah.
What if, like, wife the whole time thinks it's a prank, even though it's really something going on? She does not believe. She's like, "Where'd you get this actor? Like, it's not really you. Like, but he knows everything about you."
Yeah. Why do they gotta look like you? This is a podcast. There could be a scene with like maybe a dog, where, like, say that I have a dog, and the dog runs out and does not go to one of the two.
Oh,
it doesn't know.
It pretend, like, goes to sniff one and then runs me into the other one, and that'd be like another signifier that I'm not in the right place.
Yeah.
So that could happen at the meeting with like a pet.
That's such an interesting thing that you guys are doing, because it's almost like the details are telling the story. So the story is not really much around the drama; it's around the little small details, like the dog maybe goes to both but growls at one. You know,
yeah,
like, wait
exactly.
Or little small details like, I don't know, like the kid thing, like those things kind of build. So it's almost like there's a big mystery. You know, like when M. Night Shyamalan made good movies way back in the day, like how he managed to build a lot of mystery that would leave you wanting to fill in those answers, but if you got the answers, it almost ruined the movie. Like to Dylan's point about the comet, that's all you need to know about why this happened. You don't need the scientific reasoning behind it. You just need the small details or something of the sort.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. Like Shyamalan, like his earlier movies, he was such a great writer that he wanted to not dumb down his stories for the audience. He wanted the audience to catch up to him. So he would put things in there to universe build, where at the end of it, you're like, oh man, I'm so stupid. I should have caught that the whole time. Whereas a lot of new directors will hammer down the fact, like, this is a different universe. There's a blah, blah, blah. And you're like,
are you trying to tell me that plot point and excuse and initiating incident?
And then you had like the weird scene in probably bad movies where somebody walks into a bar and you go, hey, turn up the news article, and it's like doppelgangers around the world are seen.
Oh yeah.
What year is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, Dylan and I watch a lot of movies, and we critique a lot of like very lazy writing like that. So we like to kind of build intrigue and build universe. So I'm glad you picked that up.
Are you the only person who's been duplicated by this comic?
In this short? Yeah.
In this short. Okay, so it's not like I come in and I'm on the phone. I'm like, yeah, when you can, and then Dylan Prime walks in.
No, I think that'd be a cool way for us to expand this into a bigger thing later on. But no, I think for this short, it is strictly a 4-person contained story of what to do if one of you is duplicated.
Like, where's the nearest? We're gonna go figure this out. Where's the nearest coffee shop?
But 2 of us don't drink coffee, and it's me and myself.
We have a coffee shop scene where it's my duplicate and me, and your duplicate and you, and we're all sitting at a 4-person table, and the barista comes up and goes, "Oh, is this like a twins meetup?" Like, yep. And we look at our clothes, and we're wearing identical clothing.
What do you think should be a really cool pivotal point of the second
Well,
arc?
there needs to be some sort of drama.
Yeah, I would assume that we would try to get me home.
Yeah.
Or get me out of their life. Right?
Are you stuck here? Like, do you have to like move somewhere else?
Well, I don't know if we know how I got here.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I have an interesting take on this one. So
Go for it.
I think an interesting plot drama, you use the wife as a plot device, because like while you guys are trying to figure out now all the shock is gone, right? We've all accepted that there's a doppelganger. So you spend like, I don't know, weeks or months trying to figure out. Meanwhile, wife starts developing feelings for Zach 2, perhaps.
Ooh. Okay.
So Zach 1 doesn't treat me like that. Zach, and at this point, it's like you start changing their appearances just a little bit, perhaps.
Oh,
right?
I see myself treating her improperly that I can't before. Because now it's a different perspective.
Zach 2 comes from a slightly better parallel universe.
He's a little bit better looking. Slightly better looking. He does little things that are different, but you guys don't notice it, but the wife does, right?
Oh.
And then slowly but surely, you start adding that element of now Zach 1 and Zach 2 are going from, there's a little conflict there. Not enough for them to dislike each other, but Zach 1 is really trying to get you home now.
Maybe Zach 2 decides that he doesn't want to be here.
Swap.
And he's like, I'll go back where you're from.
So that's what I was thinking for the ending. I was thinking you go with like almost like the end of like, I'm sorry, I don't want to jump, but I'm thinking for the ending, okay, I'm thinking for the ending, right? I think of Inception, one of my favorite movies of all time, Christopher Nolan, right? Where the top is spinning, you don't know whether it falls over or not. So let's say, for example, they figure out how to get Zach 1, Zach 2 back home, right? You go to this point, whatever, it's a wormhole or a door or something like that. And you see Zach, as they're talking, he's like, it's been fun being here. It's kind of a crazy conversation. The conversation turns a little bit aggressive. Like I almost don't want to go. And then you hear like a noise going off, showing some sort of struggle, whether it's like a knife wound, you hear someone get stabbed, gunshot goes off, it goes black, right? Then you fast forward to a couple months later, you see Zach driving with wife and kids and all that stuff. And maybe the wife asked Zach something that Zach wants you to know, let you know that Zach 2 killed Zach 1. And that's how it just ends.
Oh, I like that. But instead of that very last part, maybe they get home and the dog starts growling at them again.
Oh, there you go.
It's like, dang!
Yeah.
That's cool.
The dog growls, yeah.
I like that,
I was thinking a comedy bit where they make a comment on like, I just really think Trevorrow did a good job on Star Wars 9. And you just go, and then it does the Jaws dolly zoom.
Or you go to this tree and cross off the name and put the other name back. Something like that, just touch it back on like the
part. Just go back on
the dog.
I like the dog thing, yeah. So we're gonna do
I think the dog one is subtlety but perfect at the same time.
Yeah, I like that. So we're gonna do a fade to black here right before the end. And then I guess the very, very end is dog growl.
Christopher Nolan is about to pick this one up.
Dude, I hope so.
That's the entire point of the show.
Honestly, we call the show Talking Stream because we're trying to talk ourselves up to a streaming service. We just want to be able to make content. So yeah, I would like it if Chris Nolan would pick this up, or even his brother, who isn't as good, but whatever.
He's a screenwriter. He's fun.
Yeah, that's fine.
He directed some Westworld.
Okay, so now.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Because I think didn't they both co-write? I think it was Inception. That was both of them.
Yeah.
And Memento was based on a short story Jonathan Nolan wrote when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. So to make this effect happen, we would need a portal or a way back.
And you need a falling out so that you would want to swap to the point where you would injure or kill your other self.
I do like the idea of maybe the partner liking the wrong one.
Yeah.
And there being a little bit of like
some tension
just subtle tension, even like in the background where you're like, what's up with them, Because there needs to be a mystery, so it can't be a full-on fight or something.
You know the word I'm going to bring up?
Montage.
There you go.
What's
I
the
think
montage?
we have a montage of us researching methods to send you back, where it's like, and I think we go a little goofy with it, where it's like you see us in like a garage with like this really intense sci-fi teleporter or something. We turn a lever and it just puffs into smoke, and then we're like flipping through a book that's very obviously like the Necronomicon, and we try and cast we're in robes or something, and nothing seems to take.
And then when there's a news article like comet is supposed to be approaching Earth tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But then we also got to figure out like how to
reveal that as
how to put that person through there.
What was the initial thing that sent you? Yeah.
Maybe you have to be in the same position that you started off in when the weird thing transpired.
What were you doing with that comment?
Yeah,
What's something weird you could be doing that would be for comedic effect?
Oh my god, by myself?
Yeah,
anything really.
Late at night.
Okay, one thing that I do for myself, it is for comedic only. Mm-hmm. I will put myself in a very small sleeping bag and then pretend I'm an inchworm and an inch around my apartment. That's when nobody's home, and that makes me laugh more than I think anything ever. And I hope that no one sees that.
All right.
But I don't think that could be.
That before.
I don't think. There's a lot of things about me you don't know.
I know.
I don't think that could be something that is
something along those lines, but not something so. I don't want to say mundane because it's not. It's weird.
What? Maybe there is like a. Okay, so if we're doing like stupid stuff,
sure.
What if there's like a food truck outside the night of, and like there's like this special hot burrito or something.
It's like a special taco with like a cosmic pepper or something.
Yeah, something, and like maybe I eat it and I pass out.
Okay,
I don't know.
So hot it makes you pass out.
It's so. So I guess something would make me. Okay, so I guess to get to the very beginning, how we got to figure out how I got into this thing.
Yeah.
So we can't just start with me leaving the house.
What if you're at a food truck and you're buying food and you see the comment, you make a wish on it, of some sort.
Mm.
And then it's like Comet making its second round.
And I really wish that there was
75 years.
And I wish that there was more of me to do more podcasts.
I wish there were more of me so I could eat more of these tacos.
And then as soon as
pulls Zach Prime into Zach 2's universe.
So as soon as I eat this, I see a comment, and then I see the second comment, and then I guess it fades out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which means that over here, the mysterious, magical food truck has to come back, and we have to get knowledge there's another comment coming by.
Yeah.
Right? So then we have to... So then this is the montage at the end of trying stuff out. I guess with the reveal of, well, how did you get here to begin with? I guess we'll have that weird conversation.
Yeah.
Which will allude to the gateway portal event, I guess. I don't know what this middle 10 minutes is just yet, which is...
I'm thinking like going back to that creating that tension, how we were talking about the wife starts to like, Zach 2 a little bit more. Maybe it's one of those things where you guys have shown that Zach 1 and Zach 2 always know where each other are, right? And then maybe one day, Zach 1 walks in from work and you notice Zach 2's there, like unannounced. Like he's like, cliche, mowing the lawn or do something nice. But you're kind of like, wait a second, like, what are you doing? You know how it is when your friends, maybe your friend gets it's like when your friend gets a little too close.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't invite you over, man. I appreciate it, but like, I got it from here, right? And that starts to create that little tension. Your wife is acting a little weird. She's like, why were you an asshole to him? That kind of like, why are you defending him? But I'm defending you. What are you talking about? Like,
what if it's Sorry, go ahead. Finish up.
No, that was it.
Oh, what if it's a combination montage of us trying to find methods to get you home and then a slow acceptance montage where it's just like you and other Zach just kind of like shoveling snow together?
Yeah. So I would assume that at some point we would know that this is going to be about a week or something until something happens.
Yeah.
So there has to be that acceptance state. So then there's a little bit of time of me just living with myself. And I guess that would show that the tension between the partner a lot more.
How difficult it can be to live with yourself.
Just tell me about it.
After what you've done.
The inchworm thing? Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
What about revisiting the cross memory with proximity, like the tension and how?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so how like you have that little tension between you, but you don't really see it until you guys actually get close to each other. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So they would both feel that the other one is jealous or something. Or that they would like. Yeah. Yeah. There'd be some weird thing like. Wait, do you like her more than I do?
Yeah.
Do the Zacks go to group therapy together? You two sit down in like a therapist's office, and she's just like, "So this
like all three of us go to a marriage wedding."
Zach Prime, Zach 2 go to a therapist, and the therapist's like, "So I think I'm safe to say that this is going to be a first for all three of us."
All right, so there's a couples therapy session here. That could be fun. So are we doing 2 montages? That's crazy.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I don't know. But we definitely need... I like the tension aspect. I like going through the proximity of the cross members. We definitely need to focus on that a little bit more somehow, which can be a bunch of like Z1/Z2 just visual kind of fights, like them just staring each other down.
Yeah.
Because they're like...
You get in each other's way because your movements try to sync up and you both reach for the same knife and bump up against each other.
Or like you're maybe like Zach 2, like we have him wherever he's hanging out for dinner or something like that, and maybe Zach 2 corrects Zach 1's son doing something, like oversteps a boundary now. So showing that like Zach 2 is starting to the line between reality starts to blur a little bit, and Zach 1's like, wait, what are you doing? That's my son.
Yeah, I like
my
that.
daughter.
That's cool. All right. Yeah, so we'll put the kid in there. So we'll have right around here, child correction. We're at the hour mark. Do you want to sum up again real quick?
Yeah. So hi, everybody who's just tuning in. This is Talking UpStream. My name is Dylan. This is Zach. This is our whiteboard, and these are our friends from the Puzzled Minds podcast, Joon and Tad. We are here this week, as we are most weeks, working through one of the ideas that Zach and I brought to the table, as we do on Talking UpStream. This week, we decided to go with Zach's idea, which was what happens if you see a duplicate of yourself across the street on just a normal, mundane day.
Yeah.
So far, we've determined there is some sort of magic involved regarding a comet on which a wish was made, after which Zack Prime wakes up in the second universe, and the difficulties that might arise from that, including tensions with the version of your significant other, that sort of thing. And we're trying to figure out kind of how to translate this initial opening into the ending where one of them has replaced the other without anyone else noticing.
Yeah. And just once again, quick thanks to IBM.TV for having us on here and letting us talk a lot. And very, very special thanks to Puzzle Mind Podcast for hanging out with us the whole time. It's very, very cool. We appreciate it. It makes our job a little bit easier.
No worries.
Okay, so I think that the portal in needs to be expanded more. I think we got to figure out what the incident is. It doesn't need to be a food truck. Obviously, that was a joke. But there needs to be an inciting incident.
Yeah.
That
I like the idea of him somehow wishing that, like, I wish there was more of me to...
See, I like that, but I also like the portal idea, and I think that makes more of the flip at the end better.
You just trip through a crack in space time. It's just
let's see.
The universe has like
but how would
I'll be right back, guys. You guys mind?
Cool.
You real quick?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, do your thing.
Go. All right.
Yeah, so we gotta, but I think it needs to be more of like a walkthrough. Because if it's a trip thing, then we need to make sure that Zack 2 can go through it instead of Zack Prime.
Yeah,
which I think is a pretty cool thing to do.
Like as in like only Zack 2 can only go through it?
Well,
I imagine so that the Zacks can collaborate without anyone else knowing and swap places.
Yeah, either that or to build the intrigue at the audience. Like once it fades to black, they won't know who went through the portal. So if it's one thing like eating something, then we'll know who did it. But if it's something so simple as like walking through something or going down a hole or like a hedge through a hedge or something dumb, maybe.
So I'm trying to think of what a modern representation of this could be.
So something that could lead me somewhere that I don't go often is, say I'm playing Pokemon Go. Because sometimes I'll put on Pokemon Go, I'm like, what, there's a new Pokestop here? And I'll walk over there. Now, if something over there was something at that time, I'm not sure. But I definitely think that it needs to be portal-y.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And then all four of the people will go back to the portal
and
be like, hey, we got to wait for the comet to come across to jump in the sewer or something. Whatever I would have done accidentally.
What if we do like Flight of the Navigator style where you like fall in the creek wherever this is and it was just under the right bridge at the right time or something like that?
I fall in the creek and go under a bridge?
Well, I mean, you know the Greenway.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like what a modern day kind of portal could be represented as. Going under the bridge, like historically in like European folklore at least, going under bridges tends to be where the world kind of separates a little bit.
And I do walk over St. Vrain River occasionally. So say I'm on my phone and I'm texting as I'm walking and I walk and I literally just fall over into the river, the St. Vrain River.
Yeah.
And then I go under the thing as the comet's going over.
You're walking at night, or is this comet going during day?
A day comet?
I think it happens.
There's no. It has to happen.
It is.
There's no such thing as day outside, like in this space.
Not if I'm not observing it, I can't say for sure.
You need to stop pushing this cube world theory. No.
You just wait for my idea next week.
Do you like June? Do you like the idea of maybe going under a bridge?
Yeah, I think for some reason going under a bridge has like a mysterious kind of vibe to it, you know?
Yeah.
And
you get offered something.
Yeah, it's you're kind of just like you said, you're playing Pokemon Go and you don't really realize it, and then you kind of just end up in the different dimension. Yeah, I guess my only question with that would be if it is at nighttime, I would walk back home where I would already be in the other dimension, which means it has to be that day on my way to the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
I go under the bridge, and when I get out, that's when I see myself. That actually might be way cooler.
Yeah, something maybe there's construction and it forces you to take a different route, and we do the Animorphs thing where it's like we were going to take the long way home, but the shortcut led us through the construction site, and then the alien ship lands. And... Sure. Honestly, I am someone who would literally leave my house and put on Pokemon Go, and be like,
oh, I've never been to this Pokestop, and I would walk like 2 miles to that thing. So I would do that, and I think
you take a weird way to the grocery store, and it leads you under a bridge of some sort.
Or maybe I'm like scrolling my phone because there is a daytime comet.
Anthony Kiedis is there playing guitar.
Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, we're in LA now. All right, so I think I like the under the bridge thing.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
So we're gonna do the bridge thing. I like that. This is under. What was that? Is that going?
I got nothing.
What is that? I mean, there's a water here.
St. Louis?
See? No, this is a bridge.
All right. I'm not arguing.
With your eyes, you are.
Am I?
No. Okay, so we're gonna do the bridge thing here, and then I guess because there is the cross memory linkage. When we get to right around the montage part, we'd be like, well, just remember what you did the night before, I guess, right?
Or this morning.
And like, it could have been the bridge thing when I fell into the bridge. And you go, we'll just try anything right now. So I think that's cool. And then I guess we could do that fade to black on the water splashing, and then wake up.
I think I think eventually somehow you realize what caused it, and it's like, I think this needs to be between the two of us. So two Zacks go down and you talk a little bit about how you've realized some things about it. It's like, what are you thinking? And then we hear a splash.
Oh yeah.
And then
it goes. Zach it cuts to the inside of the apartment. Zach walks in. Dog growls.
Or Zach walks in. Partner's like, "Is it all figured out?" It goes, "Yeah, we got it. We got it figured out. Everybody's where they should be."
And then say, "Hey, where's the kid?" And go, "Oh, they're walking the dog." And then there's like a little bit of mingling right there. Yeah. And then the kid comes in with the dog, and the dog goes crazy. And then we go to black. I think that's cool.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's cool.
That's a good linkage of things. So I like the under the bridge. We're gonna keep that down here too. How do you think about that, June? Does that seem interesting?
Yeah. I think the way, like you said, where it, after you go out of or where it cuts black and then you see them kind of, like the dog barking. I think that's a perfect way to have that.
Yeah, because if this is like a half an hour, this whole first part, which is a lot of stuff, is going to just feel like rush. Yeah. This middle part is going to be awkward tension.
Yeah.
And then like trying to figure some stuff out.
And a little bit of reconciliation.
This last one we have is comedy with that weird montage of trying different things for some reason. And then remembering that it is because of the comet, which another one is coming soon. We'll know that because of something that we put.
Like research, I guess through the montage. I guess how it would be like, hey, there's gonna be another comet coming in such and such.
Yeah,
like 10 years or whatever.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. 10 years. Ugh. Was that like 4 days?
Yeah.
It's like cuts to like 7 years later, and it's like you call them, and the other Zach's in like Tucson, Arizona. It's like, hey, how's it going? You've got like
that's what we call an anime time skip.
Yeah. Just
17 years later.
Yeah.
He's got dreads and he's wearing one of those like big shirts. He's working in a crystal shop.
And you go, hey, it's tomorrow's the meeting. I'm like, fine, I'll be there.
Shaving his head so he fits back in.
All right, what else do we need to work on for this?
How are you guys feeling?
Almost wondering, going back to that fade to black, like with the whole dog growling thing, because if the dog goes hysterical, if this movie's as smart as it sounds, there's no way no one notices that, right? What if it's some sort of like identifier that we don't put emphasis on, like one of the Zack had, like, I don't know, scar or a watch or something, and that's maybe something that you see, like, for example, I'm not saying that let's say we take the dog portion of dog growling, right? Let's say, for example, that Zack always said something that was very odd, but that only pertained to his universe, something like some slang word like, oh, that's dope or something like that, and the word dope or something like that doesn't really exist in this universe. So maybe his son in the end asked him, like, hey, you want to do something? And then Zack too was like, yeah, that's dope. And then we're like, oh shit, and then it just cuts off.
Yeah. They're like, what do you want to have for dinner? And like, well, let's have your favorite spanoodle. And like,
spanoodle. Wait, what?
That's not a dish in my universe.
It just doesn't zoom in on the eyes. Yeah.
It's almost like this thing could become a very subtle horror movie. because
Yeah,
the implications of everything now become very devious, because now you start wondering what happened to Zach 1, or even if it's like something along the lines of like he comes in, but you see like, I don't know, blood on his collar of his shirt, or a scuffle or something. Like, what happened? Like, oh, I fell on the way back. And you're like, wait a second.
I like that.
This is starting to make me feel a little bit like how I felt when I played. I don't know if you guys are familiar with BioShock Infinite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You start hopping universe, and it's like we can't go back once we do. And then there's this feeling every time that they open a tear, it's like, oh, all right, here we go. Like we can't get back to our home one, so we're just gonna keep going until we find something that works.
Yeah, it's very similar to one of my favorite comics. It's I don't know if you guys read Image Comics, but this is one of the greatest comics of all time. It's called Black Science. Mm-hmm. And it kind of deals with the same similar topics where pretty much there's this thing called a pillar, and there's this guy that basically jumps through universes. But what they're doing is punching holes through universes. So to get to the next universe, you're damaging your own one because you have to bust a hole through it. Oh, cool. So as you go to they talk about the universe as an onion. So every single time you go to a layer, you can't go back to that previous layer because you've damaged it. And it kind of gets to the point where they get to like the last remaining universe intact, and it kind of does that similar concept of once you've done something, you can't go back. And then you have multiple versions of yourself, and as you kill yourself, you destroy and you change the timeline. It's a very interesting concept.
Oh, that's cool. All right, so that's cool because we put in like there's no way to go back. You can always go. Yeah. You can only go on.
You keep going. But you're eliminating universes as you're doing it, because the interesting thing about that comic is that some universes have like a catastrophic event that destroys the entire universe, and then some universes actually start imploding because of you just even passing through it, just punch a hole to go to Earth 3, but you've destroyed Earth 2 to get there. So everyone starts suffering, but they don't know why. And then, like for example, like punching a hole in a universe can happen in the form of all of a sudden you start getting ridiculous hurricanes that are like hundreds of feet tall, but that's just your universe actually dying, and then it just goes away, and then people don't even know they're dead; they're just gone.
That's crazy, because then like that would make Zach's prime motivation so much different. If he knows that he can't go back to his, he can either stay here or go on. Then he would
maybe Zach 2 the entire time didn't tell you that he came from a dying universe, like he's known the entire time.
He comes from this universe.
Cool.
Yeah, like he's like, I'm gonna be. He knew from day one, like, yo, this is good. I'm not going anywhere. But the entire time throughout this 30-minute short, he's been playing the games and all that stuff. But mainly it's just to send Zach Prime back to his dying universe. That's it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we should pull some of the comedy out of this.
Yeah.
And put
now we have a full-blown Blumhouse horror movie.
No, I'm cool with that. I like that. A lot of our stuff
wants to give us cash. I'll take it.
Dude, we'll take $50 to make this thing.
He just throws it on people and make trash.
Yeah, but I think that if Zach Prime knows that he can't go back, that changes a lot of this stuff. It changes a lot of the aspects, especially if partner 2 starts liking Zach Prime and maybe kid 2 starts liking Zach Prime. Then there's going to be that weird, like, well,
maybe Zach Prime doesn't know this. Zach 2 does this, but on the walk to that bridge where the wormhole is, that's when it starts getting a little more devious. That's when Zach 2 starts explaining things, and then as he reveals, they're like, there's no going. Once you go back, that's it. That's when whatever happens, Zach 1 happens, and then it cuts to the jump and you.
And then maybe because there's 2 Zachs in this universe, things are starting to like mess up and fracture. So that's why one.
That's a good concept.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever watched 12 Monkeys? They redid it on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, it's very good.
Love that movie.
Remember what they did about
It's very good.
Cool.
Phenomenal, right? It went under the radar, but basically what they did was, I forgot what is the term? A paradox? Is that when 2 things exist in one period?
Yeah.
And that show, what happens when 2 things exist in the exact same amount of time is when the universe tries to correct itself and it destroys one of them. So what happens is there's like an episode where, for example, he's like being held hostage, and he has a watch similar to, I think, someone else, like so one of the other guys that's stolen a watch from a previous person. So the universe recognizes these are 2 items from 2 different universes or 2 different timelines in one spot. So what happened was the watch on the guard exploded and like it blew his arm off and stuff or something like that. So you could have something similar, like where the universe basically is going to either correct the mistake or destroy the universe, destroy the reality or some stuff like that.
So we're gonna throw in universal,
some sort of elimination,
universal correction, I guess.
Correction,
yeah. I got all my filmmaking tips from Michael Bay. He's been texting me this whole time, so that's why this is escalating the entire time. We need more explosions.
You know how we're gonna do this? We have to blow
we
up
need
this
Transformers, matter of fact.
Yeah, there's only one way to save this: blow up the whole universe.
Blow everyone up, even the dog.
Only Ryan Reynolds can blow up this whole universe.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we have some universal correction thrown into here. I like this being more that Zack Prime can't go back.
Yeah.
I think that's very
Yeah, I
interesting.
like that too.
So
we need some way to reveal the nature of this to them.
okay, so if we're wearing the same clothes, it would obviously be something I would have that goes to the other dimension. So we could easily say, like, I come home and take my hat and throw it next to another hat, because if you see, I have like a bunch of the same hats. So I would easily take my hat off and throw it. If I put my hat on Zack 2's hat and those two hats phased, you know, and then it's like, oh, there's something crazy going on. Is that what you're talking about? Like,
we need some way to tell that you can't go backwards.
Oh,
Someone needs to know the nature of this so they can explain it.
When Tad was talking, I was thinking that what he was saying was that Zack 2 wasn't from this place.
Oh, he's from another one?
Was from 2 before Zack Prime. So he had gone through Zack Prime's into this one. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Because we got to figure out the knowledge that you can't go back.
Yeah, because at this point now, we're so that means we would have to get rid of the idea of maybe them having identical lives in their separate universes, because Zack 2 has clearly more knowledge about this traveling than Zack 1, right? Because Zack 2 at this point now has been playing dumb, pretending like, okay, yeah, we have to figure out how to send me back home. But realistically, along the way, he's just pretty much been developing a relationship with the wife, the kid. So if that were the case, Zack 1 maybe does this become a time travel story? Because Zack 1 maybe is from a place where this technology exists, or is it just a reality where human beings got farther?
It could be similar to like a Superman thing, where like, say like Zack 2's parents knew about this and brought him here or something, and he just grew up here, but he knew about it. Or
I kind of like the idea that Zack 2 is from an earlier one.
Yeah,
and they were playing dumb.
But if that's true, then he somehow gained information 2 universes ago and is devious
from another Zack, from an earlier Zack.
If you do that though, do you have to take out the cross memory?
I was thinking about that. We have flashes of weird images of interactions between 2 Zacks who are not Zack Prime and Zack 2, and it's just like, I'm getting these headaches, and I keep having memories of us interacting when I don't remember it. And it's like it's memories from Zack 2 doing this in a previous iteration.
Oh, cool! All right,
and that's kind of like a foreshadowing.
So the shared
what if it comes in the form of either dreams, or perhaps like they're both getting sick, and rather than have that could be the universe killing them, it's saying that you guys have to figure this out, otherwise you both die. Yeah, so like Zack 1 thinks that he's just sick. Zack 2 knows what's happening the whole time. Like, damn, I need to speed up this plan.
Yeah, I like that. So sickness is going to set in right around there. So he's got to do something. So now Zack 2 knows that he has to make a move. And that way, when you don't know who leaves, it's even more significant. You're like, is it the bad Zack?
Yeah.
Or is it the good Zack from the
bad
place?
Zack.
All right. What else? So I like all that. What do you see?
I like the idea that Zack 2 has been faking it this whole time.
Yeah.
And I think this bears a little deeper revision with that in mind, but maybe not right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Only because we got 5 to go.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you want to wrap it up?
We could.
All right, cool.
How do you guys feel? Is there anything in particular you feel like this could be introduced into, or anything we could add? Yeah, I think a good point what he just said is that thinking that if Zack 2 is faking from 2 dimensions ago, maybe a little more restructuring of the beginning of this to kind of put that in this in light. But is there anything else you think we should work on as far as the main plot of this?
Perhaps you find out that Zack 2 has been looking for Zack 1 the whole time, so that meeting wasn't coincidental.
Oh, okay.
So, but he couldn't just walk up to himself and be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm you." He had to pretend like, "What the hell?" So you find out Zack 1 is like on the almost Ozymandias from Watchmen level of like villainy where he's thinking 20 steps ahead. So the whole thing has been orchestrated the entire time.
What if part of the reason what if Zack 2 reveals like you can only like break through the universal barrier when it's weak, like two of us in proximity.
Oh,
so I've been waiting for another one to show up, and then that gives Zack Prime
that's awesome.
revelation that you mean there was another one back in my home one? It's like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's just a chain.
Oh, I love that. That's cool. Dude, that's it. Yeah.
All right.
Right on.
We're good.
We just made a fucking blockbuster.
Look at that, man. Oh, that's so cool. Hey, thank you guys very much. June and Tad,
no worries.
It's such an honor to have you guys on here and hang out the whole time and make this very cool story. And we appreciate it. Do you want to go ahead and fill out some quick plugs about yourself and where people can find you again?
Yeah, like I said, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you want to hear us at, any major platform and stuff like that. Other than that, we do encourage everyone to send us an email or whatever it is, any topic you'd like to hear us about, because actually this type of stuff is kind of interesting. Just making the thing from scratch, and I'm not as creative as everyone else, but I love hearing these things and just kind of see it go into fruition.
Yeah, man, you put some really good stuff in there, so I appreciate it. And we would love to have you guys back on again. So for sure in the future, you guys were very helpful. Tad, anything you want to push or promote?
No, man. Guys, just go watch this movie. It's gonna make $1 zillion and fix the entire U.S. economy single-handedly.
Right on, man. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Once again, I want to throw a quick shout out to IBM TV for having us on and putting up with all of our emailing and banter and whatever. Couple other people we want to throw a quick shout out to. Sarah Tkachuk, she's been awesome. Miss Tanya Sheck has been super helpful. And
Scott Curtis, you're a boy.
If you like podcasts, check out Behind the Bits. Scott Curtis is awesome. He actually just won an award for Best
Interview Podcast.
The guy's great. He gets a lot of really cool comics on and talks about how they come up with the ideas of jokes, not just having them talk about jokes, which is very, very cool. And more importantly, we have one of our friends over at Listener App. Go to listener-app.com if you want to join and kind of get all the verbiage of what me and Dylan say. I mumble a lot. Listener App actually puts the transcriptions on there, which is really, really cool. Yeah. And thank you to Puzzle Minds Podcast. Please listen to it. It's a very, very good podcast. It actually is. It's one of the ones that me and Dylan actually listen to. If you listen to our show, podcast, we go over a whole bunch of weird ones. But Puzzle Minds is a good one. Check it out.
Thank you.
And that's it. Tune in next week. We'll make up some more stuff. Thanks, everybody.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Guys, have a good one.
We'll be right back.